All right. Give me a second here for everybody on Twitch TV. Let me make certain that everything is where it needs to be. And as of right now, terribly sorry about last night. We were supposed to be doing an update, but unfortunately, we had some major internet gremlins and we were not able to do a weather overtime. So we are back on for Thursday evening, 28th, rapidly running out of September. And as we go into the next several days, more potential of less rainfall, to say the least. Excuse me, we'll be looking for the potential of maybe some rain in about 2 weeks or so, depending on what happens. But for right now, we're just not seeing anything out there. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek from WDEF News 12 in downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee. This is our exclusive video weather blog, Weather Overtime. For those of you just tuning in on Twitch TV, no singing, no dancing, no video games going on. We talk about weather for the Tennessee River Valley in and around portions of southeast Tennessee, northeast Alabama, and northern Georgia, and a small part of western North Carolina. So we'll talk about what's going on with the possibility of showers and thunderstorms for tonight, and also some very mild conditions for the next several days. As of right now, if everything works, we may be looking at our first big cool down heading our way, but that's not going to be happening for about another week and a half at best. We'll see what's going on into next weekend coming up here in just a little while, so stay tuned for more on that. We'll have our West Shore Home Weather Window Picture of the Day, and we'll thank our most recent Food City Weather in the Classroom school that I went to today. That'll be coming up here in just a little while, so stay tuned for more on that. Thanking our viewers. Didn't get a location on this, but Doug and Marcia Hudson. Growing up Lutheran, you learn when you have potlucks to always make extra for everybody, no matter who drops by. And in the upper right-hand corner, there's a hummingbird feeder up there. So the deer, the turkey, the hummingbirds, everybody having a good meal at the Hudson household. So thank you very much for sending that in. Got any pictures out there? We'd love to see them. We don't have enough to go through next week, so we could use some extra pictures. Drop them to the comments section of our Instagram, X, or Facebook pages. Short description would be good. You can be anonymous if you want to, but just give us a little bit more information about where you were taking the picture and what you were looking at. Again, helps to kind of illustrate what's going on, or just email them to us at pictures@wdef.com for more. We did manage to have another very warm day out there, just a bit above normal. Normal for this time of the year is in the lower 80s. So nice to be a little bit above normal, but would really like to have that extra amount of cool weather. That'll be coming up in the next several days. If we don't get any more rainfall tonight, and it looks like that's it for the next several days, this will wind up being, if I'm not mistaken, the third or fourth driest September since records were kept, basically within the last 125 years. The last time we got this little rainfall was, I believe, 1961, and before that, the driest September ever was 1919, where we picked up 0.04 of an inch of rain, and that was it. So it kind of needs to be able to see that, but we are way behind on rainfall for the month, and typically September is one of the rainier months around here. October gets a little drier. Rainfall picks back up again in November, and we could use it because we're way behind, and that might be increasing our wildfire danger into the course of the next couple of days. So that's something we'll be taking a close look at very soon. Remember that stop sign on the side of the bus? That is an actual traffic legal stop sign. So when that thing is displayed out on the side of the bus and the lights are flashing, everybody stops. So definitely want to slow it down, keep an eye out again for the kids at school. Tomorrow morning, maybe some patchy fog and temperatures back in the lower 60s. Pleasant, a little bit on the warm side coming home from school, and looking good for Friday night football as well. So not seeing a problem there. Into tomorrow, again, should be a light southwesterly wind, so less in the way of problems with the slice or the hook. Watch out again for those gophers. They're sneaky, and temperatures back in the mid 80s. Going to be seeing a very warm day coming up. Likewise, for going out and catching a fish, taking a hike, going camping, It's going to be pretty warm, but average for catching a fish, according to the website. And temperatures, again, quite warm. Winds light out of the southwest at about 5 miles per hour. Downtown Chattanooga, we caught some very neat sunset shots for tonight. So hopefully you had a chance to get out there and take a look at that. Looking back toward Lookout Mountain, and again on the hazy side, but decently clear as those clouds move out of the picture for tonight. From the News 12 studios, again, a great sunset shot earlier, but decently clear for right now on the veteran-owned Patriot Concrete camera. Traffic is moving along nicely on 2475 Tomahawk crane and rigging camera there on the EPB fiber optics WeatherCam network. And from downtown Chattanooga, some of the trees down here are starting to change color a lot quicker, and some beautiful colors in that area. So we've got the potential for seeing some nicer weather out there, but with those warmer temperatures, good possibility we might see the green sticking around for at least a little while. From the Speedy's Total Car Care camera at the Chattanooga Theater Center, fairly quiet conditions for right now, dry and mainly clear skies. And last but not least, from Island Cove, more clouds here and less clouds expected overnight into tomorrow morning, but we will see again a few clouds out there from time to time. Temperatures mild, dew points a little bit more humid as winds are out of the west-northwest at about 3 miles per hour or so. Beautiful weather earlier tonight, a beautiful sunset from the Tennessee Valley Railroad Museum in Chattanooga from the Virtual Railfan website. Sunrise in Antarctica. Beautiful out there. It looks nice, but at this time of the year, you got to take the temperatures and the winds into account, because if you don't, you might be dead if you stay outdoors for too long unprepared. Minus 75 degrees just out of winter and into springtime, and with the wind chill earlier tonight, minus triple digits. That's how cold it gets down and around that area way down under. What's left of those showers from earlier? Basically gone. Not seeing anything again in the way of major amounts of problems for anything there. Jeff Peterson, 93 Superstorm. No, at that point in time, I was still in Topeka at Channel 49, way back into Topeka, Kansas, so we did not get anything in the way of anything going on in the way of the Superstorm way back into parts of Kansas. My next stop would have been Fort Smith, Arkansas, Fort Smith / Fayetteville, Arkansas, at KFSM just after that, but we didn't catch much of anything from the Superstorm. I remember it being a little windy. In 93, the biggest problem we had was that stuck stationary front that led to the floods of 93, and that was something else to see the Kansas River at record highs, flooding out parts of Lawrence, Kansas. That was something else to be able to see that. Parts of Iowa, the Raccoon River up that direction overflowing, and coincidentally, if you ever see the floods of 93 around the Mississippi River around St. Louis, the video from the helicopter as you see the house getting washed away in that flood, a former co-anchor of mine from back in Fort Smith was from St. Louis, and she got the helicopter dispatched to shoot that video of the house being washed away in the floods of 93. So we didn't really pick up anything from the Superstorm, but we did pick up a decent amount from the floods taking place out there. But thank you very much, and good question, and thanks for joining us tonight. What's left of those showers? Let me get rid of the sweeping radar here. Not much. Again, the chances of rainfall, what was left of them, dwindling as they headed toward downtown Chattanooga, so there's really not much of anything else. A couple of thunderstorms way back over Chattanooga over here, and back over toward Jackson, Tennessee, toward the area around the Tennessee River, around Lexington, and down towards Savannah, heading towards Shiloh, but it looks like that storm is falling apart, and a few scattered showers over toward Hohenwald, Centerville, and just around the Waynesboro area. That's about it. There's been a shower up by Trenton, close to Dyersburg, and beyond that, there's just really not that much happening at this time. So that'll do it for the chances of rainfall across much of the area, and we will see less in the way of rain coming up in the near future. So for what we're getting right now, it's just basically as dry as can be. Now we've got plenty of areas of showers and thunderstorms with this storm system into and around portions of the Great Lakes. What we've got is this parking lot of systems going on from the Ohio River Valley all the way back through the northern plains, the Intermountain West, and all the way off to the west coast. All these areas you see through here, this is going to be the way this storm system kind of goes through. We'll be seeing the chances of these showers and thunderstorms with these fronts making their way from west to east. It's what's called a zonal flow directly from west to east on here. So these will be heading through the Plain States, the Great Lakes, the Ohio River Valley. We are going to see high pressure coming in from areas close to the desert Southwest, spreading over our area, and that means we get less and less in the way of rainfall and more sunshine over the next few days. That sunshine is going to add up to where we're going to pick up a lot more warm temperatures, not record highs, but very much well above normal temperatures coming on through. And that again is where we see some great weather for outdoors in the next several days. Into tonight, could be some patchy fog and some clouds. It looks like, again, maybe some speckles of rain back to our northwest, but I really don't see much of anything happening here. And then outside of a few clouds, mainly sunshine into the area coming up as we go into Friday afternoon, dismissal time for the kids. Friday night football looks excellent. Cool Saturday morning. Again, some patchy fog, lower 60s out there, mid 80s through Saturday afternoon and into Sunday. Let's see how far that forecast stretches through about early Sunday afternoon, lower to mid 80s, a few clouds, plenty of sunshine. Take that forecast and repeat it into the next several days, and you got a pretty good idea as to what we're looking at all the way on through. Less in the way of chances of showers and thunderstorms, more potential of sunshine more than anything else. Outdoors looks good. It is going to be warm though, so that extra bottle of water, making certain you stay hydrated, would not be a bad idea. Better chances of rain, maybe. And this is a big underscore maybe. We might see the possibility of some rain second week of October, somewhere in there. So if you've got a garden, now would be a good time to get that watering can or the garden hose ready to go, because we're not getting any help from Mother Nature anytime soon. Maybe a little bit cooler again into next Wednesday and Thursday, upper 50s or so, but all the way on through, this is going to be straightforward, the exact forecast into probably the first weekend of October, and then some changes come our way. When you don't see a lot of change in the forecast, that's called persistence forecasting, to where little, if anything, really changes. We need a big change in the forecast. The patterns in the atmosphere have really got to shift, and that's not showing up until we get into, it looks like about, again, next weekend, and that's going to be about as good as it gets for now. Here's what it looks like, and what did I do with this? There we go. Okay, this starts off for today, and this will show the fluctuation, warmer, cooler as the days go through. The very warm weather, again, in the oranges and down toward the reds and the purples. Watch this area here as we go into and around the area close to next weekend. So I set this into motion, much on the warmer side here, and that warm air sticks around the eastern part of the country. But then that's where we start to see a really good punch of much cooler air coming down from portions of Canada. And that is where we see the potential of what looks like, for right now, at least it's going to be pretty warm down around the coast and up into the Tennessee River Valley well enough, staying in roughly about the lower 80s or so. But right here, if that punch is strong enough, we may see numbers back into around the yellow category. So we might be getting back to around the 70s for highs. Again, this is going to be way into the second weekend or the first weekend of October. Now, whether or not this brings in anything in the way of rainfall, really iffy to show at this point in time. We have the chance of a few showers, again, lingering into tomorrow morning. That's about it. Going into the next several days, that high pressure stays in control, and it looks like, let me back that up just a little bit, high pressure moves off the east coast. Looks like maybe something trying to develop over the western Atlantic here. And then as we get into Friday next week, more chances of some showers taking place, maybe some thunderstorms mixed in with that. But for right now, the farther out you go in time, the less certain things are. So this is good news that we get some moisture in here, but it is also not a guarantee by any stretch of the imagination that we're going to get anything in the way of rainfall. It's as soon as we get a little bit closer to the forecast time frame next weekend, then we can say right now that we'll be looking for better chances of rain. But as of this moment, Thursday evening, this is a good possibility, but I would take this forecast with a very large grain of salt, and that's where we see again the changes coming up. We'll keep our eyes on this, so keep it tuned to News 12 for more on that. Philippe, the P-name storm on the alphabet for the season, is lopsided. It is very much on the dry side on the left half of the storm, the western part of the storm, and into and around the eastern part of the storm. Not seeing a lot of activity. The ocean surface not really helping. The winds also not helping on this. The shear is not really doing a great job. It's a minimal tropical storm, winds of 45 miles per hour. It's expected to wander its way to the southwest as a tropical storm over the next several days. Notice that this cone is not very big, so it's not going too far. And then it kind of bounces back to the north and west. Still is a tropical storm. Unfortunately, the markers here for data are covering over, but it looks like it's going to be degenerating into an area of low pressure as it goes a little farther back to the north. Now, back to the east of that, a little bit better organized, not by much. It's a minimal tropical storm, Rena, the R-name storm. We're already well past the halfway point of the alphabet. This storm appears to have a little bit more concentrated effort going back to the north. By Monday, it's still a tropical storm and barely a tropical storm at that. Bermuda is the little smudge way up there into the Atlantic, so it might bring some foul weather to parts of the western Atlantic around Bermuda, but it really doesn't look like much. And as of right now, this is about it where it comes to anything in the way of big problems for the Atlantic. Nothing going on in the Gulf of Mexico, nothing going on in the western Atlantic. Again, that front sitting off there, some clouds, and that's about it. And not seeing a lot of problems elsewhere forming off of Africa for right now. We'll see what the National Hurricane Center has to say about that, but for the time being, really very quiet in the Atlantic outside of these storms here. No hurricanes, nothing developing into a hurricane from Philippe and Rena, and nothing else coming in from off of Africa. So it looks like for the time being, let me just double check. National Hurricane Center has no extra storms, nothing coming in around the area off of Africa. So that's very good news at this time. Nice to have a bit of a lull, but once again, we've got October and November to go through. So we've still got 2 months of hurricane season left, and a lot can still happen at that point. So keep it tuned to News 12. We'll keep you updated on that. Barnard Astronomical Society will be holding a weather permitting star party, as they call it, where they'll bring out their telescopes to Cloudland Canyon State Park. They'll be setting up in the disc golf parking area. That'll be next Saturday. And again, hopefully clear skies there from 6:30 to 10:30 p.m. More information about this and how you can get involved, get your kids involved in the hobby of astronomy and stargazing, one of my favorite things to do, barnardastronomy.org or facebook.com/barnardastro for more details on what's going on into and around the area where it comes to anything involving star parties and astronomical stuff. On the Food City certified Angus beef on the grill cast into the next couple of days, not much changing. Very good conditions for grilling outdoors. No chance of rainfall being seen at this time. Mostly sunny skies, decently warm, and we'll continue to see that forecast all the way through next week. So if you have any outdoor plans, should be able to keep them for right now without too much of any problems out there. Thanking Hannah Malott and the staff and students of Lookout Valley Elementary. Had a great time there today talking to 3 different classes about meteorology and climate change and weather safety. That, again, is part of our effort to get out into the community and talk about science and weather. That's part of the Food City Weather in the Classroom program. Tomorrow, I'm going to be right next door at Chattanooga Christian Academy. So, good opportunity to talk to the fourth grade classes there about weather. If you're a teacher or an administrator and would like to have our weather experts talk to your class, great, no problem at all, but you have to invite us. We don't just show up. You'd have to go to the website and fill out the forms. WDEF.com/weather and click on the Weather in the Classroom program for more details there, and we'd be glad to appear and talk about the topics. We have, again, different programs for different age levels, so talking to high school is going to be much different than talking to a kindergarten class, so let us know what class level you teach, special subjects you'd like us to touch on, anything like that. All the details in the form available at the website, so give us an idea as to what's going on there and what may be happening on your schedule so that we can cross-connect on our schedule. And remember, the schedule fills up really quickly as we go past fall break, so please get that into us as soon as you possibly can on there, and we'll do our best to cross-connect on there for right now. Have to give a bit of a shout-out for tonight. Former producer of mine from back in Memphis, and I've talked about her on here before. Her name's Chloe Sexton. She started up her own giant cookie business at the start of the pandemic, and she has become just amazingly popular on TikTok and other social medias for these ginormous cookies, about the size of a CD and pretty much about as thick as your wrist. They're absolutely delicious. Her book has now been published. If you haven't seen this before, it's called Big Yum, and she features some of the recipes on here that really you just have to try to be believed. My wife and I helped babysit her kids while she was busy in the kitchen and doing marketing for everything. So if you'd like to try some of these, the only complaint I have with this is that she didn't include the recipe for the Tipsy George, which if you haven't had that before, I would really highly recommend giving it a try. You can order stuff online from bluffcakes.com, and if you have not had the opportunity to try some of these things, just absolutely splendiferous. One of the best amount of Memphis that you have ever had before. An amazing kind of success story here for everything. So if you'd like to order this online, search out Bluff Cakes and Big Yum. And congratulations to Chloe, her husband Tyler, and her kids at home, doing a great job for all this. She was an amazing producer to work for at my former station, one of the best people you could ever hope to meet, very savvy business lady, and just tackling life and doing an amazing job. So nice little shameless plug here, but get the recipe book. You owe it to yourself to grab one of these things. And again, it's Big Yum from Chloe Sexton. Search out bluffcakes.com or Bluff Cakes Memphis, and you can order some of these cookies to be shipped directly to you. So great opportunity there, and congratulations to Chloe and Tyler on some amazing success and doing one of the best good news stories about Memphis when it comes to entrepreneurial and successful women running the business in the kitchen and doing a lot of other work on there too. So congratulations, Chloe and Tyler and all the kids on there for everything going on. That should take care of it for weather overtime tonight. Again, we should be looking at some quiet conditions out there for now. We've got the eclipses coming up. We've got the Great American Shakeout in just a few days. Practicing for earthquakes. Even though we don't have a lot here, it's best to be as ready to go just in case on stuff like that. And of course, we'll talk more about the Star Party with Barnard Astronomy for more details on that. Tons of other stuff besides weather going on. So even though things are going to be quiet, we'll have more to talk about as we go into next week. We'll have more on the Friday Night Football forecast coming up tonight on News 12 at 11. And of course, we'll have much more through tonight and into tomorrow. Chip Chapman has your forecast bright and early on Friday morning starting at 5 a.m. Meteorologist Todd Heislip through the weekend, and I'll be with you on the evenings on there as well. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek. You've been watching Weather Overtime. Thanks for joining us, and stay tuned, to News 12 for more information on air and online, and we'll be back with you again tomorrow night.